talks set to continue. And again, there's a lot of big deadlines coming up before the end of this month to pay back creditors. Let's talk about it now with Alexis Poulin, director of Euractiv of France, which collates all the news that pertains to Europe. Thanks for being with us again, Alexis. You remember back in 2008, there was the financial crisis, and one of its signature moments was what they called the Lehman moment, when the U.S. government didn't really realize that letting this big bank fail would trigger such calamitous results. Could we have a Lehman moment with Greece?
I don't think so. I think
you think it's all grandstanding here?
No, it's more than grandstanding. There's a real issue here about the future of Europe, and I think all the participants in this dialogue and talks are very well aware of what could happen if Greece was about to leave the Eurozone, and what is the cost of keeping Greece in the Eurozone. And I think that's why we see the talks are taking more time, and there is different messages from the IMF that are more positive than it was at the beginning of the week. And the fact that Varoufakis is no more in the picture, it's more Tsipras talking with the European
Prime
partners.
Minister and not the Finance Minister.
Yes, exactly. And I think after the election in the UK, where now Brexit, the leaving of the UK of Europe as an institution, could be on the map in 2016 with the win of Cameron. Now I think all the people around the table want to keep Greece to have a solid Eurozone for all the international creditors and investors in the EU economy.
So hang on, what you're saying is that because a while back it seemed as though one by one, after he was elected, he was very popular throughout Europe when he was elected, Alexis Tsipras. Here's a guy standing up to the Eurocrats, if you will. But then he lost that popularity as time went by. You're saying is though he's got more leverage than it looks.
I think so. Yes, what is a leverage power is to say if we leave, then you can still discuss, but it's the end of the Eurozone, and all your economies will suffer from that because investors, they hate not to know what the future will be made of. And if Greece is leaving, then what about the UK in a year? And uncertainty is not good for investment. So I think all the EU leaders, and the G7 is meeting in Germany later, want to have an option where we keep Greece and we give more time. The money is not there. The problem is where the money will come from. And clearly, Tsipras said that he doesn't want to have more cuts on pension or raise the price of VAT on electricity and commodities. So there are some red lines that he won't cross because people in Greece have voted for him in the first instance, and he doesn't want to betray these people. So that's where I think there are...
doesn't want to betray them, and you have people like his own labor minister, who's very vocal. How is he going to rein them in? Because at some point or another, you say there's going to be a compromise, but how's he going to sell it to those people?
Well, the thing is, if there's a compromise, it's going to be difficult for Syriza because you got, as you said, the left wing that is very anti any compromise, and they want to stay true to their words and say we've been elected on stopping with these austerity measures. But he can also play with the Greek parliament, because any reform, any deal that will be on the table will have to pass at the parliament. And there's not only Syriza in the parliament, and it could be that the old Socialist Party will vote in favor of Greece staying in Europe. But the main question mark is the leaders of Syriza might not be the same in a few months' time.
All right, you're saying there'll be a change. And will that change make it a more radical party or a more mainstream
party?
No,
a more mainstream. And I think the radical ale of the party will sort of separate from there.
All right, that's in a few months' time.
Yes.
What about what's going on this month?
This month, I think this month we'll get to an agreement on Friday, tomorrow, as I said, because I think that's on the 5th of June, where Greece has to pay back.
The big one's at the end of the month.
Yes, the big one, the real,
What's the real deadline here?
End of June. Everyone is saying that end of June. There's no deadline, but end of June, where you have to pay back the IMF and the different creditors. And so it leaves 4 weeks. But it's been, if you remember the talks from January onwards, it's always been till the end of the month. And I said, I think it was in March, around this table, that we'll see in June what's going to happen. And now we're in June. And I think because of all this will of securing the Eurozone, not just for Greece, but for the rest of the European economy, there might be a deal on the table that will be different than what expected.
How different?
Well, I think more time or seeing how the reforms could be different and leaving
Because we
the
saw
austerity
there was a
side.
secret meeting Monday night.
Yes.
Of what was it? The head of the
There was-
IMF, France, Germany, and ECB leaders
Yes.
and the such. And they come up with this proposal where Greece can sort of lower its surplus, right?
Exactly. That was one of the solutions.
Okay.
And
How much of a compromise is that? And when you're saying we'll see a different deal, how different will it be to that final proposal?
I think that's the final proposal, but it might extend in time, saying, okay, you don't have to wait. End of June is fair if you get 25% of what you own and get back. And we'll see in a year's time or something like that. I'm not in the head of these leaders. I don't know what they've been talking about, but it's clear that there's a will to keep Greece in the Eurozone.
But is extending the deadline the right way to go? Because we know that Greece can't pay that money back.
Well, they said in last month that they don't have the money to pay. So they have to
Everyone
find a
knows it.
solution without the money. Fair point. So either they leave or they stay. If we want them to stay, I mean, as European institutions, there will be some talks to have. And they say that they're waiting for further talks. Tsipras, he wrote an op-ed in Le Monde on Sunday, and clearly what he wants is to move from the technical financial deal to a political solution of the crisis, and saying what is on the table is the future of Europe. And clearly his words were about that, and saying what we're deciding around the table is not about Greece, it's about Europe as a whole. And I think he's winning there, because you can see the different leaders are talking to him and not putting so much pressure, also whatever has been said in newspapers.
All right, putting pressure on him, but a political deal, sorry to be so crude, but it means taking a bath on a lot of the debt that Greece owes.
Exactly. It means saying to European people, other countries, that you have to share the burden. And that's where it's taking so much time, I think, to discuss, because no one wants to pay for the Greek debt. But that's the price to pay, maybe, to keep a fully working Europe for the next months and years.
All right, Alexis Poulin, who sees the glass half full when it comes to those negotiations. Many thanks for being with us here.
Thank you.